So hi everyone, I'm Jean-Marc, I'm Wewalk's Head of Research and Development, and I look after our product development and make sure that it meets the often complex requirements of our visually impaired community. I'm visually impaired myself. I've got short brown hair, I'm wearing a white shirt with a gray blazer, and I'm Middle Eastern, and I'm 25. I'm joined with my fantastic colleague, Ipek.
Hello everyone, I'm Ipek. I'm a woman with dark, straight, long hair, and I'm wearing a black shirt right now. I'm working as machine learning engineer in Wework.
So let's kick right off. I actually want to start off with a little thought experiment. I'd like you to imagine that you're on your way to see friends, on your way to employment, whatever it may be, you're out and about, and you've got your smartphone and you're navigating. Now imagine you've got to catch a bus, you've got to cross a road. That's already pretty stressful. But what if I took that further? And well, what if you just didn't have sight? And now you had to cross the road and all you had to rely on was a simple white stick. It's a pretty intense experience. And it's something which affects me personally, given my visual impairment, but also affects up to 253 million people worldwide. And the thing is, whilst there have been some amazing developments within the visually impaired community, by far the most prevalent tool has remained the white cane. It's an amazing tool. It tells you about ground level obstacles. It's a symbol of our independence. But the thing is, that's all it does. It doesn't connect to smart cities. It doesn't help you hail a cab. It doesn't tell you about the next bus. And we wanted to change that. So at Wewalk, we're an organization that have used our lived experiences to design our product. We want to empower our visually impaired community with cutting edge technology to give us that equal participation in society. And the way that we do that is with the Wewalk Smart Cane, which I shall now display on screen. This is basically a standard white cane. We've taken the rubber handle at the top of the white cane and we've replaced it with the Wewalk device. The device itself has all the internals in it. It's got an ultrasonic sensor. It's shaped slightly like a conical device that gets slimmer towards the upper tip. So on screen right now is someone using the Wewalk Smart Cane. It's handled exactly like a standard cane, being swiped backwards and forwards along the ground. It's got an ultrasonic sensor, which is a round dimple on the actual handle. The ultrasonic sensor emits waves, which are then reflected off obstacles such as tree branches, which then tell the user about the upcoming obstacle through vibrations. On screen right now, we've got a smartphone. The Wewalk app, the Wewalk Smart Cane, connects to the Wewalk smartphone application to provide exploration and navigation features. We also have a touchpad built into Wewalk. This is positioned right above the ultrasonic sensor. It's a square-ish dimple that the user rests their thumb on. And this is used to control our smartphone application. And the idea is, as shown on screen, the user would simply put their smartphone in their pocket and use their Wewalk Smart Cane to control their exploration and navigation features, getting information about nearby bus stops, as well as finding out where to go, when their next turning point is, and if they really want to, even hail an Uber. So in summary and on screen right now, Wewalk detects obstacles with its obstacle detection sensor. It pairs with your smartphone via Bluetooth connectivity to help you control your smartphone application without having to carry a smartphone and have one hand occupied. And it keeps evolving with integration. Wewalk just keeps getting better with new app updates to make sure that we're, well, competitive, but that we also match with today's best smart city integrations. Here's the Wewalk app itself. On screen, I've got 3 screens showing the Wewalk App Interface, and it's all empowered by Microsoft services. It really is an extraordinary app. First and foremost, it's completely accessible. So we've designed the application to be screen reader friendly, but also to have low vision features so people with residual sight can still make the most of our application. On our other screen, we're showing the settings menu of Wewalk, which has a bunch of configurable and controllable settings. So users can choose how often Wewalk tells them about their next turning point or the next exploration point. It's a totally customizable experience. And here's the Wewalk smartphone companion application. So on screen right now, I've got 3 screens showing the app itself, its low vision mapping solution, as well as its plethora of customizable settings. The Wewalk app is empowered by Microsoft services that power features such as our transport integration. But what's really cool is that the app is actually free to download right now on iOS and Android. So you could download it and actually follow along as I talk through each of our features. I'm now going to dive into Wewalk's plethora of features. The first one is our public transport feature, and on screen right now, we've got a phone screen displaying this feature. Firstly, you can actually see what nearby stops are around you with Wewalk, and you can navigate to those stops, be it a train stop or a bus stop. You can then click into this stop to see what lines are arriving at that stop, be it a bus or train, and when that next line is arriving and destination information. Once you tap on the line, you can actually track the stop that you're on to make sure that you're getting off at the right stop, which is a super useful feature for people with visual impairments. Our next feature is our navigation feature, and on screen right now, I've got a low vision map. It's got a yellow line with a deep black background to ensure that even users with reduced vision can still make the most out of their residual sight. Our navigation experience contains clock directions, as well as low vision mapping and destination tracking to make sure that you're always heading in the right direction. You can also check to make sure that you're heading in the right direction continuously throughout your journey. And this all comes together in our multimodal transport mode. And again, this is all powered by Azure. We're using Azure's transport APIs, the same ones used by MoveIt, to power our transit information. And on screen right now, I'm showing a step-by-step journey where a user can select walking and then select the transport mode in which they want to take. And the idea is, by segregating your journey into sub-journeys, you'll know exactly where you are at all times, you'll get onto the right bus, you'll get off at the right bus. That really is just a very useful feature, again, made possible thanks to the Azure service. And then we've got exploration. Now, exploration is one of my personal favorite features. As you're walking down the street, you want to know about nearby businesses. You want to find out about places which you might not have seen before. Well, with Wewalk, you can scroll through a list of places as is being shown on screen right now. You can navigate to that place, you can save that place, you can get an Uber to that place, and you can save it for later. Alternatively, Wewalk also has an automatic exploration mode where as you're walking past a location, Wewalk will automatically tell you what's around you. And we're very lucky to have received quite a few awards which have validated our product. We've received a Time Best Invention of 2019, an Edison Gold Award, and an honorable mention by Fast Company. But what's more important than awards is lived experiences and our own personal motivations with our device. I will never forget, over a year ago when we first launched the beta of our new navigation experience, myself and Gökhan, my colleague at the organization, were trying to navigate somewhere. And I said, hey, I'm going to try navigating with the Wewalk app. You can use your mapping application, and let's see who gets there first. And lo and behold, I actually managed to get there first. And it really is a testament to the amazing work that my team is doing in making sure that we can deliver these real-life, usable experiences powered by Azure and powered by our team. So what's next for us here at Wework? Well, we've been working as part of Microsoft's AI for Good cohort back in February of 2019. And thanks to a lot of great people there, we were able to develop our AI for Good roadmap. And the mission is quite simple. We realized that mobility trainers, the people that look after visually impaired people's orientation and mobility, typically have to deal with caseloads of 10, if not hundreds, of visually impaired people. And this can be quite challenging. So by using Wewalk's built-in sensors, including the gyroscope and accelerometer, we've defined our AI mission. And this mission is that we want to leverage the data provided by these sensors to create a machine learning model of how the individual is behaving, how their mobility is changing over time. We can then feed back this data to the visually impaired user themselves or to their mobility trainer, therefore giving the mobility trainer insight into how their visually impaired trainee is behaving on a day-to-day basis and how their mobility needs to change or improve. And I'll now pass on to Ipek, who will tell you more about our novel mobility tracking solution.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. It's a pleasure to be here. So yes, let's talk about how Wework uses AI for bettering people's lives. With our AI mobility tracking feature, we aim to track people's mobility behavior by using sensors in Wewalk SmartCane. We are extracting informative metrics from sensor data and providing these metrics to mobility trainers. But the informative outputs of this project is not limited to these metrics. We are also training a machine learning model to understand the patterns of individuals' mobility and give helpful outputs for mobility experts and healthcare professionals. Right from the beginning, the value of Azure tools was very clear. We are using Azure backend tools such as Event Hubs or Cosmos DB for our backend architecture. And of course, Our prime tool, Azure AI's features such as AutoML, which has helped us to effectively investigate and understand our dataset. As a second part of the project, we recognize that existing voice assistants can't cover the visually impaired individual's needs. Many were designed to be stationary devices that were not designed to cater to mobility tasks, such as identifying bus stops and actively navigating to safe locations. So we wanted to change that with Wewalk. We created an assistant that would not only allow the user to access these navigation and exploration features, but to also give them greater control over their Wewalk device. So now Wewalk comes with an app internal voice assistant solution, thanks to Microsoft services and our extensive user requirements review. We are using the language understanding, which is called LUIS service from Microsoft, as a foundation for this feature. A voice assistant is tough to build from scratch, so being able to use this ready-to-go service has really helped us achieve accurate results, even when we give it a small amount of input data. Overall, working with Azure AI has empowered us to quickly implement our mobility tracking and voice assistant solutions. So it's allowed us to deliver a very usable product without starting from scratch and with a really solid platform. I would also like to give a special shout out to Microsoft Hackathon team for putting together a super useful hackathon back in November. This hackathon helped us to become more familiar with Azure platform and accelerate our development very much.
Thanks for that, Ipek. Indeed, that hackathon was such a fun and enriching experience. So, Wewalk very much so is defined by the amazing collaborations which we formed over the past few years. And on screen right now, I've got our partners which have helped bring us to where we are today. And we very much work with all our partners and every individual within the visually impaired community, especially our Wewalk users, to make sure that we're developing our product with our user requirements in mind. So on screen right now, I've got Imperial College and the RNIB who are collaborating with us on our R&D projects here in the UK, the Canadian National Institute of Blind People, the CNIB in Canada, who are now distributing and demonstrating Wewalk at their Smart Life stores, and the Lighthouse Field and Chicago Lighthouse in the US, where we're working on distribution agreements to hopefully get Wewalk into more people's hands. We really are so fortunate to have such amazing organizations on board with us today. So it's not just about the amazing organizations, but the incredible people that have helped to bring us to where we are today. From our early days back in the AI for Good cohort, a special thanks to Hector and Eve Joseph for our time there, to our AI for Accessibility program, to which we were accepted in June 2020, Heather, Saqib, and all the people that believed in us. It really has been such an amazing experience. And of course, it's brought us such a long way. I mean, recently, we were on Bloomberg, and Microsoft execs like Cindy Rose and Brad Smith actually got behind our cause and talked about us. It really meant the world to us, and it just shows how we can grow so much together with collaborations and organizations like Microsoft. So thank you very much for all of this. It really has been amazing presenting here, and I'll now pass on to Abraham.